How's it going, my comic chat army? Back with another review. If you're new to the channel, we give you indie comic interviews and indie comic reviews every week. So go ahead and like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, turn it to all. Don't turn it to always, because then you'll get some of the video. You'll get all of our videos that we upload. So I felt inspired this week to put up Spawn, because if it wasn't for, Liefeld, Lee, McFarlane, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing like 2 more, independent comics wouldn't be a thing. We wouldn't have a channel, Spawn wouldn't exist, and life would just be boring and meaningless.
And you've been building your collection quite up with Spawn recently.
I have. Speaking
so
of Spawn,
I think it was fresh on your mind.
Speaking of Spawn, look at that. Tell me where he's from. I mean, of course, besides the comic book, but we don't have a blue Spawn in the comic books. And in the comments, tell me who's this shirt from. I thought it was quite fitting since we're talking about hell and what's that book about? Hell and
It's about death.
Hell and death.
And just like grieving and just a lot of sadness.
Yeah, and so I felt this shirt was appropriate, and congratulations if you're watching this on your new baby boy.
Yep, he's getting to be quite a little cutie.
Yep. So,
Dead End Kids.
from the Gogol, Source Point Press.
Yep. So.
Who is it? Gogol, written by Frank Gogol.
Yep. Art, color, and variant. I don't know how to say that name. I'm not going to try to say that name. Letters by Sean Reinhardt, and the cover by Chris Mad. Yep. I'm sorry, I just do not want to ruin even attempting to say your name. But
before everybody gets pissed off and start saying crazy things in the comment, this is the second printing. I know it's the second printing because for some reason this book blew up, and the first printing is a little bit out of my price range, and it's kind of expensive to buy just for a review. I think it's at like the upper half of $50. But both of these books we'll leave down in the description so you can pick them up yourself. Physical or digital media, they'll both be down there. But Dead End Kids is about...
So, it's about 4 kids, and I thought I would remember their names. So it's Ben, Tank, Amanda, and then the 4th one, I cannot remember, and I was repeating them to myself. But anyways, it's about 4 kids who basically come from really shitty backgrounds. Their lives are just messed up. Just going through some hard times, and they're kind of like they're rock for each other. They depend on each other. And in a nutshell, one of them ends up getting murdered, and
one of the kids on the cover?
Yep, one of the kids on the cover.
No spoilers here.
Getting murdered, and the other three set out to find his killer. So
you just said it was a boy. You just said his.
There's 3 boys though.
Okay.
So we'll just leave it at that. There's 3 boys and 1 girl.
Okay.
But so that being said, yeah. So they're out on a mission to find out who is the killer, and it just kind of sounds like it's going to lead up to a bunch of bullshit that they're going to be facing. It's, it's just real cut and dry. I just didn't want to get into too much detail, because then any specific detail to each scene, it's going to kind of give away who was killed, who's the possibility of the murderer. Like, I wanted to just give a general summarization of it.
But do the cops know, or are the kids just taking it upon themselves to find the killer?
No, nobody knows. So the kids are doing this themselves because, like I said, they all depend on each other. Like that, they were their family. Like, one kid was a foster kid. They just all come from really sad, depressing family like their backgrounds are just real shitty. So they're each other's family.
Here, I'm gonna show them a couple pages.
And it kind of, what it reminds me of is, you got Stand By Me. If anybody's seen Stand By Me, you've got them. They all kind of had each other's back, and they were, close friends, or even like It. Just the mischief. Runts of the neighborhood, the town, just kind of that kind of sets where they're, you know, searching for who killed them, and they run into some other stuff. But
go ahead.
it's a good book if you're into that type of book. I've been really getting a lot of stories that I'm reviewing are stuff like this. I'm getting more of like the real life situations lately.
Yes.
I enjoy stuff like that. I feel like I'm reading more of
And I'm
like
getting more of the
animated
comic booky fun
yes.
fiction.
But that's more of Cody's style and
Yes.
taste. I love stuff like this because I don't feel like I'm reading a comic necessarily. I feel like I'm reading like a book at times. But it's really cool to put panels of pictures to life. Sorry, guys.
Sit up on
To
a
pick-
pause. There's a tack in there.
Yeah, I didn't want that in my butt. But anyways, I think it's cool to kind of, you know, write some of these comics like that and putting pictures and panels to life to something that's not just you think of a typical comic book being about superheroes and about this and about that. No, comic books can be whatever you want it to be. You know, it really can. Don't you agree?
I agree.
And I think it's cool that people, you know, step outside of the box and is bringing...
And take it into a fun, fresh way.
Or
Like,
just bringing light to serious subjects or bringing, you know...
just like Belial that we're about to talk about.
I mean, it's just... I think it's refreshing to be able to review stuff like this because you don't get these type of books necessarily in mainstream comics and in the industry like this, and that's why I love reviewing and doing these videos because independent artists are really like they're underrated, and you guys should be showcased more for your talent. And that's, you know, part of the one reason why we love doing this, because you don't get to see this type of stuff on a day-to-day basis if you're in the, you know.
Well,
So-
I mean, Source Point Press is in comic book stores, but
yes, but they're not like, you know, like the big wigs, you know what I mean? They support smaller writers at times too. But anyways, go ahead.
I don't know how I'm gonna top that. 1 out of 10 recommendation.
I'd give it an 8. It was a little slow to start with, but you know, it set the story. I'd like to continue to see where the story goes. I think it's a very relatable book for people, especially if you come from a tough background or a rough life, or, you know, which we've all have a story. There's not a person in this world that doesn't have a story.
Yep, and we'd love to hear your story if you want to drop it down in the comments.
Yeah.
But, really quick, I know this video is going to start off with a lot of shout-outs, but shout out to Tom at Cool Comics and Games for hooking me up with this beautiful baby.
Let me tell you, he's heavy.
He's like 3 pounds.
Easily.
Easy.
Oh my goodness. Like, seriously, he is solid as a brick.
Yes. And for some of y'all that know, me and Chuck is one of our favorite people. Mm-hmm. And he sent me this super scandalous picture of his wife posing with the book Belial. I don't know if it's Chuck's wife or not. No. But it's funny that I can say things like that because Chuck is a good man. He's a joker. And before I crack into his book and tell you what I liked and what I didn't like, go ahead and subscribe and comment to Chuck's channel. He does like the same thing we do.
Yep.
But he reviews books in a fun, raw way.
Yes.
Because it's called Chuck's Raw Reviews. He gives it to you straight, no bullshit, so...
He reviews them differently than the way
yes,
we do.
but if you are sensitive or have, I guess, sensitive and just get hurt easy, do not
take constructive criticism.
Right, don't send him your book, because he will tell you what he liked and what he didn't like. He'll give it to you straight, no sugarcoating, no bullshit.
Chuck's an editor, so that should just tell you enough in itself.
And if you need editorial work, I'll leave this information down in the bottom.
Yep.
Okay. Belial is which black and white series. Look, I just noticed this. The pages are black. But since I know Chuck and since I read Belial is Chuck all the way. Like, if you could take Chuck and cram him into a comic book, it'd be Belial. This screams Chuck all the way. But Belial is about a demon, the true creator of hell. Not Lucifer, not Satan, not whatever y'all want to call him. Mm-hmm. Belial constructed hell as of what it is, hell. And he got dethroned and his powers got taken from the 4 horsemen. of the apocalypse. So now Belial has to kill the 4 horsemen of apocalypse to get his powers back, to have enough strength to kill Satan, to take hell back, the rightful place of hell. It is a black.
That was a mouthful.
It was. It is a black and white comic book, which I love it. I think it'd be cool if you would maybe put out a couple in color, because I'd like to see what some of these characters look like in color. There is slight nudity in it, but fuck. Well, we're gonna make this 18, but fuck, it's hell. I would be disappointed if there wasn't no titties in my hell. But one good thing I did like about it is right in the beginning, there wasn't that little recap, like a paragraph of this is what happened in issue 1. They're all behind it. That's Belial right there. If you're 555, then I'm 666. That's Belial right there, and that's his whole crew behind him, and they're talking about the events in issue 1. It's what I liked. Just in case you haven't picked up issue 1, you don't have to read this little paragraph. It's part of the story. But the most part of this book takes place in a bar. That's Belial's, and while you're in this bar, nothing, like you can't die at all. So in this book, he's got to take out pestilence and I think famine. And here, I'll show you. And the creative way that Chuck made the 4 horsemen of apocalypse is original and just hasn't been done. Here we go. I think that's famine or pestilence. Fuck. I don't know. But I get these characters mixed up. But pick it up. It's a great book. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I'm kind of pissed that it's only 4. I think it's only going to be 4 issues, because I'd like to see what happens when Belial inevitably takes back hell and what he does with it and how he makes it different. And I'd like to see a prequel to like Belial building hell and like just all of that fun. But I'm not sure if this cover's a homage or not. I just liked it. It's one of my favorite covers that Chuck let me pick from. It's got the little imp. I had the stickers laying out for the longest time, but now I guess I put them up. I'll show you the imp. There it is, right there at the bottom.
What would you rate the book? 1 out of 10.
I give it a 9.3.
Wow.
Yeah, just because it's awesome, but it only I feel like some people would get pissed because the whole heaven and hell. Don't want some people.
It's a sensitive subject. Yes.
Well, some people could read it and be like, "Oh, you're pushing Satanism on me," but that's not it at all. It's a fun.
Well,
I mean,
it's his fun way of picking or poking at
Well, I mean,
hell. I mean, people shouldn't take it seriously.
No, it's just a fun, goofy book. Like it's. There we go. Show you some of the art. It's an amazing book. Like y'all should pick it up. Like it screams Chuck all the way. Like if you never met Chuck or seen any of my interviews with Chuck, go read Belial, then go watch the interview, and you'll see exactly what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna show y'all some of these beautiful kill pages. But that's Belial, and that's one of the first books. Oh, sorry. That's one. Can you hold it up, King Shark? Hey! But that is one of the first books that we reviewed too. So go back and watch Belial #1. It was kind of cringy. We didn't know what he was doing, but thank you, Chuck, for letting us review your book. That's it for now. Go check out Chuck. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment.
Yep. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell to all. Don't forget to tip your waitress. And wherever you're watching this, leave a thumbs up before you go. And
share any comments, any stories, whatever you guys want down below.
Yeah,
So that's about it.
Peace.
Bye.
What? You mean you haven't subscribed to Comicchatauthority?
Oh, come on. Subscribe already. What are you waiting for? It's no big deal.
Like, man, don't forget to tell him to hit that like button.
Yeah, that too. Just subscribe.